All right, Headbangers Podcast. We're here with Memoriam. How are you doing?
I'm good, yeah. Just come off stage here at Damnation Festival. So, all good, yeah.
Yeah, phenomenal set, by the way. Third time seeing you guys. Amazing as always. So, thank you so much.
We love Damnation. It's probably my favourite UK festival to play. Just because of the history that's involved for me as well. So, always a pleasure. The audience are always killer here. And we always go down really well, and tonight was no exception of that. Brilliant.
Oh yeah. So on the topic of Damnation then, is there any like death metal bands that you've maybe seen today that you think impressed you in a way?
No. I haven't had time. We got here about 5 o'clock. Yeah, we only got here about an hour or so before we played. So we're running a bit late. But yeah, there's a lot of bands that are on that I do really like, which I haven't seen. I wanted to see High on Parasite by Aaron's new band. Nails. I saw a bit of Nails sound checking. That sounded quite good. But no, really haven't had a chance to watch. The same as every festival we ever play. There's loads of bands that are great. We never get to see anyone.
And one main thing I wanted to ask you is obviously yourself, you're from Birmingham, right? But if you look at British heavy metal history, Birmingham is the number one city for the hardest bands to sort of come out of. Obviously you've got yourselves, you've got Napalm Death, you've got obviously Black Sabbath.
We've got a strong heritage, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, there's the whole music project called Home of Metal that comes from Birmingham, which supports, there's 4 key bands that are involved in Napalm, Godflesh, Judas Priest, and of course Black Sabbath. So that is a great celebration of our musical heritage from Birmingham. But beyond that, it's a really strong city, quite musically diverse as well. There's lots of other bands from different genres that are really, really good as well. The whole ska thing develops. The Beat. I'm good friends with the lads out of that. And the Specials and down the road in Coventry. There's a load of new bands and music from Birmingham that have developed. I think it's very much down to the fact that we're quite fiercely independent. We're not London. No disrespect, we're not Manchester either, which got a lot of press. We're kind of pretty much under the radar. We've always been under the radar in Birmingham, and we've got quite a good kind of sense of self-deprecation in Birmingham. We kind of take the piss out of ourselves quite considerably. We don't take ourselves too seriously in Birmingham. I think that's one thing why we haven't been on the big map often. But we are very proud of what we've done. In Birmingham, there's a lot of death metal that's come from our town as well. I think, back in the day when I was younger, places like the Mermaid, where the whole grind crush core came out of in the late 80s, early 90s, and that was a big catalyst for bands developing. You could go there every Saturday and see bands play and think, well, that's how I started. I saw a band called Sacrilege, who are my favourite band. I kind of grew up listening to them. I saw them at the Mermaid. I think the seminal moment was my 21st birthday, and I saw them. I was thinking, I'd like to have a go at that. I could do that. That's something I'd like to do. So it kind of helps plant that seed in people's minds, being involved in a really vibrant scene. And that's what developed through Birmingham, and that's why there's so many bands that have come from Birmingham. Because of that kind of the nature of the Mermaid and the scene that was back in that point of time. So, but I don't know what it's like now because I'm not a bit beyond it now. Don't really go out very often, apart from my own gigs.
That's awesome. So I know a lot of the theme of the Memoriam songs centre around, the horrors of war. So I guess my main question is, what draws you to the subject matter mostly? And there's a specific period of history that you tend to draw inspiration for as a band?
I've always, that's the thing. I'm kind of I think that with Memoriam, I'm kind of drawing reference on what I've done previously in the other bands. I was in another band before Memoriam, you might know of. And the whole catalogue and theme of their work was purely about war. Not glorifying war, I'm not saying gore is a good thing or a bad thing. It's just about or the effects of it, the psychological impacts, how it affects people in day-to-day, everyday life, So that's something that I've retained, it's something that's always going to be there. And I said tonight when we were on stage that it's amazing that I've written lyrics about war for the past 30 years, and now, at this point in time in our history, they seem more relevant now than they've ever been, because what's going on in the world around us, we wouldn't have dreamt 20 years ago, wouldn't have dreamt that what's happening right now would be happening on
Cycle repeats, doesn't it?
Absolutely, on our doorstep, just 1,000 kilometres down the road. It's crazy. That topic is something that I will always draw influence from, because it's not just there; it's the Middle East, it's the world around us. So it's a constant theme that will always be in the lyrics that I write, and it's kind of almost expected from me. If I wasn't to do that, I think, I like to kind of at this point in my life, I like to kind of use different themes as well. So I do interject songs about life in general. Being a little bit older now, I do like to write songs about life experiences. Life, love, life, death. We all experience these things. And I think I get more, resonance from those songs. They kind of impact or they connect with people a lot deeper. Because we've all been through experiences like that. And as you get older, you go through a lot more as well. So I think that's something that helps me connect with the audience that we play to as well. Of course, I do. I'm well known right now with Memoriam to jump on my social, political, cultural, soapbox and pontificate about things that I feel are wrong with the world that we live in. I probably wouldn't have done that with my previous band. I wouldn't have done that 20, 30 years ago when I was younger. Probably wouldn't have the confidence to do that. But right now, in the world we live in right now, I feel it's important for me to do that. And, maybe I'm a bit more confident in myself and I don't really give a shit about what other people think about me anymore. Absolutely, yeah. So I'm quite, if I'm going to piss off a few, rednecks that support Trump or, some fascists, that's fine, man. If that's job done, if I do it, absolutely. If my lyrics, offend some people, then that's great. Job done, absolutely. So the lyrics will always come for those three different thematics. War will always be there, but these days more I can draw from what's going on around us in the world. I don't have to draw from history anymore. In the past they've been from the First World War, the Second World War, or even further beyond that. But right now, there's such a lot going on in the world. Horror is now, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh yeah, and obviously, yourself, you've been in Bolt Thrower, you're in Memoriam now. You've obviously seen how the scene sort of developed over a long span of time. What's the biggest change that you've seen from back when you first started to now?
Okay, that's a good question. It's changed a lot. Back when we first started out, there was no mobile phones, there was no computers, there was all tape trading and sending letters to people, and that was, back then it was a real special. You had to make a real physical effort to do that. It wasn't like quite a ephemeral 5-minute, 5-second thing. It was like you had to write a letter, compile a tape, take it to the post office, post it, and then you wait for it to come back. And it's like so there was a kind of investment of passion into it, which to a certain extent has gone these days. I think it's a lot harder for bands too because it's so easy now to communicate with people. It's quite ephemeral. 10 seconds to write a comment about something. Or it's very easy to be negative about things. And I always kind of come from that perspective that if there's things I don't like, I'm natural. But if you don't like things, just don't say anything about it. What's my position to judge other people, what they do? There's room within the metal scene for so many different genres, and that's what's kept it alive over the years. Without things like baby metal, whatever, or kind of like Rammstein, or kind of like industrial metal, or new metal, or whatever. I might not like it, or black fucking metal. I might not like it, but it's what kept the scene, kept it going throughout the years. Because I I think what it is when you're growing up or you're getting your late teens, your 18s, you look for something that's yours, that you belong to, it forms your own sense of identity with, and that has some resonance in your life and means something to you, and yeah, you grow up and that's your thing then, and often that thing has got to have a reaction to what's happened previously, and that's what happened for me in the late 90s, the mid 90s. It was black metal that came along. I was really into my atheist kind of sensibilities, not believing in any god or devil, kind of, and having a semi-political point of view, left-wing ideology, and death metal was the thing. And then this whole wave of God worshipping, devil worshipping, whether it be imagery, makeup wearing, came along and changed the whole thing. And I really didn't get it at the time. Really hated it. Really didn't like it. As you get older, you seem to. I think I appreciate it now for what it was. It was people finding something that they believed in, and it was their thing, and it was their sense of identity. And it wasn't. I wasn't supposed to like it. That's the whole thing, and that's what keeps things going. Is having these different, like genres develop and move along, and that's what keeps metal alive. And it's stronger now maybe than it's ever been. And that's great. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. No, I honestly feel like metal now is the best it's been. Like, you've got so many great bands. You've got the old school bands, but you've got so many good new school bands too. So, honestly, incredible.
Absolutely. And it's great to see that a lot of the new bands do pay reference to what the old school bands are doing. There's a certain element of reference there to it. So yeah, it's great to be part of it still.
Oh yeah, man. So obviously you mentioned that you've got like a good affiliation with Damnation. What is your favourite thing about Damnation? What keeps you coming back?
I think that it's. In fact, it's only 2 hours down the road from where we live. Probably true. Yeah, that's probably the main thing. And the fact that it's always, it's always stayed true to its course. You've seen it evolve through the years, and the variation of bands that he always gets on. And he's fair. All the people, the staff that they employ, the whole thing from grassroots, from the bottom to the top, is just really, really well set up with the right intentions in place as well. It's a worthy cause and it's well worth supporting. It's great to see people that do get it and understand it and support it. So yeah,
hell yeah,
long may it continue.
Agreed. So we've got one more question for you.
Okay.
If it was a zombie apocalypse and you only had you and your bandmates,
I'm a zombie.
so you can choose one member to be most reliant on and one member to be least reliant on. Who do you choose and why?
It always causes shit. None of
the fuckers. We're useless.
All of them dead.
All of them dead. Yeah, absolutely. None of them. None of them. Maybe Spike, because he could stab them with his drumsticks. Maybe, and he's from Wales, so he could confuse them. Confuses me. But yeah, I'll be on my own with that one. I'll just run and leave them.
You sacrifice your own.
They can all. You deal with the zombies. I'm off.
I respect it, to be fair. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Legends.
Nice one.
Thank you.
That was a very odd question. I like that one.